Welcome to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning in to the podcast, I wanted to send out a warm welcome. And I wanted to start off by saying that some of the messages and episodes, some may take it as being judgmental, and I don't want it to come across that way. But with the African American, with our black population being now under 12%. So that's 12% out of 100. I looked up the statistics and it's like 11.69% of the human population. Now, I'm not sure if that's across America, but across the world, but I know it's for sure in America. And I'm saying it's sure worth a try to convey messages that can help our people, okay? And I wanted to say that I have love for my people, and I feel like it's worth a shot to try to get something across, especially to the younger generations, any generation, but definitely the young generations, to help to stop some of the damages that are being done from others and amongst ourselves. Okay, so I wanted to jump into the episode's topic of discussion, which is $1 billion business off the backs of blacks. Okay, so I wanted to start off by saying, or, a small disclaimer that this does not apply to all black people. Because, us as people, the first thing we want to say is, hey, I know someone who's a scholar. I know someone who's a black doctor. I know someone that doesn't fit the description of what you say. And, with our population, once again, being under 12%, who we know that's successful doesn't come close to outweighing the problems that we have in our everyday communities, okay? So, to jump back to the topic of discussion, which is $1 billion business off the backs of blacks. So, what I mean by that is this country and this world, for that matter, and definitely in America, um, makes a lot of money off of exploiting, you know, us as black people. The people that exploit us know more about who we are than we know about ourselves. And I wanted to give a few examples, and I wanted to dive into those examples, okay? How we like to be entertained. We come from a culture of what we do know about our culture, our original culture. We love to be entertained. We love dancing. It could be ceremonial. Um, you know, we love drums. We love music. Okay, and a lot of times, what they've done is they've taken a lot of the things that we love and have used it against ourselves and made it in a negative form so it could be detrimental to us as black people, and then they make money off of it, because we are the greatest influencers with music, because that's one of our areas, okay, that we are great influencers of music. We make something, the rappers make something, you know even people that claim they don't like black people, they're listening to it, or they're trying to make a beat or produce a beat that is in their genre of music, and trying to make it sound similar to hip hop or R&B. Okay, so there a lot of people are using us and our natural talents, okay, to make money off of it, and a lot of times give our children and people negative messages through the music, through what we love. Okay, so the key part is the negativity and destruction through what we love as black people. Okay, our strengths. Okay, they're exploiting our strengths. As black people, we have a lot of strengths. Okay, and they're exploiting that and using that to gain profit off of it, leaving us with very little profit. It kind of sounds like, picking cotton, them living off of the cotton that we pick, and we're left with just living in the back of the plantation, basically. Um, they take our weaknesses, things that, we have a problem, in our communities amongst ourselves. Like the fact that, as black people, we have a strong distrust amongst ourselves. Okay, so they take that and say, they'll never put a business together. Us as black people will never put any meaningful hospitals, schools, businesses together. And, a lot of Arabic, Asian, um, and, Jewish people, they open up shops within our communities, never having any plans to give back to any parts of our communities. And they know that they can open up shops and make plenty of business and money for their children and families, because they know that we have such dissension and such mistrust, deeply embedded for generations throughout our people, that we can't even put together money to be able to open up a business or any type of businesses within our communities, because, we've been taught to rob each other, to take what we can for ourselves, to trick each other. Okay? We've been taught that, one of us shouldn't outshine the other, when we're at our best, when we are all shining. And those are the concepts that other people and other communities have that we don't have. And that's why it's kind of like the crabs and a barrel mentality, for a lot of us as black people. So, that's another way that, we're being exploited. Our insecurities, okay, which ties into the mistrust, even, with us as, African American women, black women, our hair. Asians are coming in selling all, this type of, weave and things of that nature. And don't get me wrong, I wear weave too, but it's the math behind it. How a lot of us put a lot less value on our children's education, and so, we want to be flashy all day. We can't really own anything, or we can, but, it's difficult. It's more difficult than the average American for blacks to own something, put their stock into something. So, naturally, we want to be flashy. Okay, so they catch us off guard with that. So, and some of that does stem from our heritage, especially, Egyptians and Hebrew. We like gold. We like, those are things, once again, that are a part of our history, as black people. When they use that, you say, hey, we know they like shiny things. We know they like being at the best. They're royalty. Some of them were royalty. So we're going to use that, give them an image, through the media, through TV, through videos, to emulate, to look like, and we're going to use that to influence others, and we're going to take the profit from that. Okay? Another thing is, once again, it's so many layers of things that we can talk about, how we're being exploited through our ignorance, as black people. Like I said, even with our brothers, out, on the street, and they're killing each other, they're being exploited as well. Because, there are many other races of men that have organized crime. So you hear me say organized crime. So organized is when things are a certain way. There's a certain way they move, a certain mode of operation. So even within their criminal activities, they have some type of unity, some type of code that they can't go against, and then if they do go against the code, those certain individuals, will be considered a rat or turned against. But, even within our own men, even with their criminal activities and drug dealings, they don't even have any unity, amongst themselves. So we're just fighting at all sorts of levels that is being exploited, you know, to go to jail, pushing drugs and guns into our communities. We're taking them and we're following an image on TV that does not exist. A lot of, well, the TV, period, the television is a grand illusionist tool to promote images to people that don't exist. And, you might say those images are being promoted to everyone that watches television, which is true. But the thing with us as black people, because we have lost our civilization, we have lost our culture, unlike other people, a lot of us take what we see on TV when they show black images, we take it to heart. We absorb it on a deeper level than other people that may watch images that resemble them. And what I mean by that is, like I said, because we don't have our culture, it was taken, we need something to relate to, as most humans do. So when we see what looks like us on television, we're 3 times as more likely to absorb, when we watch those videos and we watch our sisters, naked on television, and we say, hey, this is our image, a bad B mentality, when we see our brothers on TV with a gun or, promoting violence in the community, like this is thug life. We're 3 times as much to absorb that because we don't have a foundation of a civilization to say, hey, that's great entertainment, but that's not our life. It's not my life. Okay? And my question I want to leave to you is this. Because we have such the great power to influence the world, because after all, we are the original man and woman of the human race. Can you imagine what kind of influence that we can have on the earth if we were to use it in a positive way? If just for a second, if we could teach our children to be master of their own thoughts, and what they see on TV is not reality, and it's not reality for us as black people. Can you imagine the influence we would have, by us being the original inventors of many things? And if we could get our mind state together, what kind of change we could make in this world? Because we're so much more than just athletes, great dancers, great rump shakers, great leapers and hoppers and runners. And, we're so much more than what you see on TV when you see lengthy jail sentences for black people and, black on black crime. We can destroy that overnight by well, not overnight, I would say, but we can destroy it, debunkify it by changing our mindset, and it starts with our children. And it starts by changing the way we think and seeing things for what they are versus the illusions that they put before us, and stop being tricked to believe them. So that's it for this podcast. I thank you for listening. If you would like to get in contact with me, or if you have any suggestions, you can reach out to me at thetruthwithtrinity@gmail.com. You can also listen to my episodes on YouTube. It's under the same name, The Truth with Trinity. It's been a pleasure. Peace and blessings.